morning and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard John, and all of you. How's it going? Thursday. We're almost to the weekend, folks. We're almost to the weekend. Thursday. Thursday. Morning, Polly. I am pleased to say that after a week of the first week of running Amazon ads and running a bunch of promo sites from the beginning of it, that 109 new people have been introduced to East of the Sun. My sale ends today. My sale ends today, and my first Facebook ad ends today. So that's pretty cool, guys. That's a lot of copies in not even a month. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks we sold that. If I could sell that every month, that would be amazing. We'll see what we can do about that. All right. Today, let's do the bone bits. Finish up the mushroom stems. I just have a couple of mushroom stems I didn't do. And the undersides of the caps and his little claws on his back. Let's get in focus. And then we'll get back on our pumpkin and maybe our vines. Maybe we'll do with vine. Well, let's do the pumpkin first. The pumpkin actually isn't that far. Like, I need to do all of this section and this section, but I have this section, so it's not bad. It's not bad. We don't have a ton to do, but let's get that driftwood and brown liner setup going. Hey, Crowley. And hello, Kodiak. Hello. Yesterday was such a wash, guys. Such a wash. Like, I did not get the crap I wanted to get done. Did not get done. Not all of it, anyway. I got derailed, like you do. But my PDF is almost done for the $2 tier, so that's that. But I'm so far behind this month. I feel so far behind. Next time, I think I'm going to do more than one YouTube video a month. Just tell me not to. Say, remember what happened when you did that the last time? You regretted it. You regretted it, Anne, because you don't have that much extra time a month, even when you think you do. Like, the problem is the beginning of the month always is like, feels like I have all the time in the world. And then when I really get down to it, I don't. It's Happy Thursday, not Tuesday. Koro, what day of the week are you on? Alright, we're going to mix up brown liner and driftwood, which is our shading. Well, that's just our liner color for everything, and then that's our shading color. Happy any day. He's so tired. That's fair. It'd be like that sometimes. Alright, and then we're going to go over here and grab some creamy ivory, and then we'll be good. Paint blob on the end of my bottle. There we go. But yeah, and then this morning David was a slow starter, so I had to super hurry to get here on time, like even close to on time, which I wasn't. So I just decided that it's time for me to ignore David's timing and just do my own thing. Like for the past 2 years or more, he's pretty clockwork, and I've been able to like swing it. But lately, I don't know. Lately, it's like, since he switched to getting up at 6:45, I think it's gotten a little wobbly. Because some days he's like, I want to sleep in today. And he doesn't realize how much that impacts my schedule. Because since I started doing these extra physical therapy exercises for my knee, they take some time. It takes an extra 10, 15 minutes in the morning. And I want to do them right away in the morning to make sure they get done. So let's get this over. But yeah, so I'm just going to have to like start ignoring David and doing my own thing, which is annoying just because it was so nice to just have him kind of be my subliminal alarm clock. Like he would do a thing and it would trigger me to do a thing. But not anymore. If I wait till Kiki, and that's the problem, Kiki's going to be sad because that means that she won't be able to like jump on me in bed in the morning. Because I won't be in bed by that point or something's wrong. There we go. Shading, and I'm going to thin this shadow. It's already pretty thinned. I put one drop in it, but because neither the brown liner nor the driftwood have great coverage, it's at a pretty good shading point. So that's a nice triad right there. Driftwood plus brown liner, driftwood plus creamy ivory, and driftwood brown. Always your one free day today. Too much money adulting. Oh no. Man, I am fighting, like, the budget, the Facebook ads euphoria. I am tempted to throw a lot of money into it, and I shouldn't, because I am not a very moneyed Ann, right? When you live by your Patreon, you don't have a lot of cash a month. And so I'm just, like, weighing it. Like, is it worth the investment to start out the ads slightly higher to get them, popping and finding audience? Or should I go really, really conservative? Or should I go somewhere in between, right? Because I don't want to blow all my extra money this coming month on ads. But I want to get the new ad off to a good start so that it starts accumulating people for my books. It's a hard call. It's very hard, especially when you want to like be a successful author as badly as I always have. And you finally feel like you've got like a way to find an audience, and like you just like the urge to go crazy is so heavy. But I forced myself to sit down this morning and figure out how many books will you have to sell in order to rationalize spending X amount of dollars, yada, yada, yada. You know, the responsible thing. It's no fun to do the responsible thing. Adulting sucks. But I think I'm just going to start at $5 a day. That's still $150 a month. That's not peanuts. Hopefully the ad will get enough traction that way, and then I can slowly add money to it if it performs well. Yes, adulting is totally overrated. Alright, so yesterday we did Toad, of course, and Toad turned out stellar. It's a stellar Toad for sure. Sorry, I just wanted to get some lining in there to clean some of that up. Alright, let's get, we did all these mushrooms, but there's a couple of these behind Big Eye here that are just a little bit unpainted, so we will tackle their stems. And we need to do his little claws finally. So let's put a base coat on those. Hey, Thormel. How's our favorite bog stomper today? Good. Yeah. Sweet, I'm glad your vacation went well. So I'll start with the dark, and then I will put the driftwood over the top of that, and then we'll use the light color to add a little texture to these little claws, wing claws. Sweet. And then we'll do our little highest highlight, and we'll make it a little linear to make it kind of blend toward the tip of the little claw. I don't have enough room to do a lot of striping like I would normally on claws and stuff, but I can at least lighten it toward the tip of the claw. Oh, hush, Turgeon. Jeez. Jeez. It's bad enough when Kodiak is flinging puns all over the place. I always like Dr. Pepper better than RC. I mean, RC being a pure cola and Dr. Pepper not being one, but RC just never really did it for me. Lately, I've been having ginger beer. The greatest thing ever is that Fever Tree, because ginger beer is a mixer for like mules and stuff, and I love ginger beer far better than ginger ale. But because it's a mixer, Fever Tree sells it in these tiny little 6-ounce cans that are like just 70 calories, which fits into my like I can have a sweet drink if it's X many calories motif. So I actually can have ginger beer, and I cut it a little bit with regular sparkling water because it's so strong, but it still tastes awesome. So I love the fact that I can get it in tiny packaging. The teensy packages are so awesome. I think it's very interesting, and I'm giving it more chances. I wish both Quindy and I wish that we could get the full sugar ones. Like I agree with that because I can just get a little bit of that artificial sweetener taste because they use aspartame, and it's like, I wish. But it's a very interesting taste. I'm giving it chances. David tried it and went, "This is terrible," and handed me the can. But he's like such a soda traditionalist. Like he never like me. He never drinks full sugar soda. But he also like only when he does, he only drinks a Coke. Like that's it. But I have 4 cans left out of my 6-pack, and I'm slowly consuming it and giving it time to like because it's just such a different flavor than I've ever had in my palate before. So I'm like, all right, I need to give this a little bit before I come to a final conclusion. I can see why. I mean, it's just really unique. I'm glad I ordered it. You liked it even better on the second one? That must be that addictive substance they put in, right? Hey, if Coca-Cola can have that rumor, and almost kind of real, I guess it was based on a real thing, but you'll bring the good stuff. All right. Well, now we have even bigger reasons to like get Kuro to Reapercon. My favorite mocktail company just came out with like 4 new flavors, and I think my head exploded. Luckily, they have a sampler pack, so I ordered it on Amazon. So I can try all the new flavors, which has me very excited. I love them because they keep the sugar low, but it's still there. They don't use artificial sweeteners. They just use a small amount of real sugar. It's only 45 calories a can, and they always taste awesome. Though I like the Caribbean mojito one a little less because it's not as sweet. I like their sweet ones better than their tangy ones. $70 shipping, right? I donate aspartame to the tune of $70. Right. At that point, like, we have to, like, combine forces, and we should all, like, order. You should get other people to order too, and then we can all chip in to help cover shipping, and then we can just disseminate everything at ReaperCon. You can have an unofficial, black market iron brew handoff at the con. They're trying to, like, take money from the expats over here who are, like, craving their iron brew fix, I bet. I mean, shipping has gotten more expensive, but still. Let's get a little bit more back here. So we've almost got all of our mushrooms highlighted. Yeah, I don't have one of those near me either. It'd be cool if someplace like World Market carried it, right? Like, there are lots of those around. We have one of those, like, just over a few streets and down. Bonus points. Yeah, right? World Market is an obvious place. I mean, they sell all sorts of other addictive stuff from other companies, or other countries. Alright, there we go. Sweet. Now we can work on orange. It's back to orange, folks. We have to orangify the back of this pumpkin so that it's not... Oh, wait, we forgot the spots. I almost forgot the spots, guys. I had to do the spots. I only did spots on the big one. That's a good Terry Pratchett quote. So some of these are actually sculpted on, and some of them I just painted on with these spots. When I'm hitting my painted ones, I'm trying to keep a little bit of the dark border around it to make it look 3D. Yeah. And I'm also throwing paint on the floor because it's what I do. Morning, Daffodwear. So grumpy. I didn't even get any writing done yesterday. Like, other stuff, like, reared its ugly head. And we did have our anniversary dinner last night. And they gave us a free dessert, which was really, really good. It was huge, too. We asked for the dessert menu, and instead we got a free anniversary dessert. Because we had our wedding reception there. And they still, like, it's a small family-owned restaurant. And so the owners remember us every time we come in. In fact, when we walked in... the one lady who's always behind the bar looked up and she's went, "Oh, are you here for your anniversary?" And we're like, "Seriously, you remember that?" She's like, "I remember it was in October." She just has a great memory for people. Oh, right. Once you've tried the 1901, you can't go back. Yeah, it's like trying real sugar Coke. Like, the cane sugar is so good. Having to shell out $70 shipping. Yes, addiction would be bad in that case. Alright, and we still need to get some actual cream ivory because it's still a shade down. Meeting time. Bye, Crowley. We're just gonna keep putting our little dots on here, and then we'll take some pure. Remember, this creamy ivory has some driftwood mixed into it, so we'll take some pure creamy ivory and do one last little spot highlight on each of these little spots. Yeah, as it should be. That praised, right? I agree. Or at least by a little floating Scottish cat on a magic carpet or something. Yeah, that's too bad, Thormill. Okay. So we've got all our spots like sketched in. So now we need to mix up some real, because these are still a bit brighter, you see, because of the using the real creamy ivory on it, as opposed to these guys that are just a little duller. You can see the difference. So we want to get that 100% creamy ivory mixed up. Yeah, Toad turned out great, huh? He really is the hero of the piece, I think. Toad turned out great. If you had a sauna. Matt DiPietro built himself a sauna during the pandemic. He's like, you know what? And he just learned how to do it. Like, he got blueprints and built himself the shed, did the foundation, did everything. So there are absolutely resources out there. If you want to build your own sauna, you can do it. Okay, creamy ivory, here we go. Split the money with James and float in with him. That would be a great Iron Brew commercial. Have small Scottish cat show up with James McElroy on a flying carpet to deliver your Iron Brew. I don't know what else would sell more like Iron Brew than that. Oh, McAvoy is allergic to cats. Oh no! It is strange to me that you know that. But I guess. If there was a celebrity that I followed quite as strongly, I would probably know a lot more about them too. Yes, and we all know that when a cat is in proximity to someone who is allergic, they immediately climb all over that person. So even one of those pandemic clear plexi shields between them wouldn't work. We all know that small Scottish cat could get around that. But it would be cool because, like, you could convince James because, like, they could wear matching outfits. Yeah, like, doesn't your brain RAM have anything better to take it up? Obviously, you need to find some stuff. Purge your hard drive. Rebuild. So I'm just trying to put at least a little dot on these mushrooms over the color I already put down. Yes, let's not obsess about random celebrities. I personally believe that people could, like, spend more time learning about celebrities and more time worried about, like, their own lives. A little bit more highlighting. Boop, boop, boop. Now our mushrooms are looking better. This brush is definitely breaking down, though. It's just having a sad. It's been abused for too long. Sad little brush. Poor sad little brush. I'll put you aside, little brush. Yeah, yes, right. No, I feel that. Yeah, the algorithm is like, here, more. I can't complain about the algorithms though. Like, I'm utilizing them right now, so they're useful little things. And honestly, sometimes they are useful. Like, especially on things like YouTube where I'm looking for information, it's good that it keeps showing me more stuff on whatever subject I'm trying to research. Especially for, like, book stuff and running stuff. It's been very useful to me. Alright, there we go. Now we finally have happy mushrooms. Happy mushrooms! We can see our spots. Everybody looks good. Oh, wow. Wow, it's getting close. That is not true, Val. The size 1 is worn out when you can no longer paint fine detail. So, in my case, for this brush, it's no longer holding that perfect point. And it's just probably this brush, like, it's just having some issues, and it's not always. And it's not even as worn as my other brush here. So like between these two brushes, the one on this one is the one I was using, but it just doesn't like hold a really great point anymore. Whereas this one, which is actually smaller and more worn, I can still paint with. In fact, I can do amazing fine detail with it. So it's not, it actually is not a function necessarily of particular size. It's when you start to realize you can't do the really fine detail with the tip, when it's not giving you the precision you want. That's when it's worn. And this one has frustrated me enough at this point that I'm putting it off to the side to trash. So I'm going to go actually to the one that's even longer worn and do that. Hey there, Marich. How's it going? I went to look at your books yesterday. It's really cool that you have so many reviews. How long have you, I didn't check the copyright. How long have you been writing? Like when did those books come out? And I'm going to mix up some oranges, guys. Remember, we're using orange brown mixed with a little bit of a brighter orange. Let me grab my orange brown. I think we were using something like Volcanic or Cavalier. I think Cavalier. Everything is grand? Excellent. Oh, it was a joke. I see. Well, I didn't want anybody to take it as gospel because it's not true. I tend not to have a sense of humor on stream because I don't want to like catch something wrong and like not take it seriously when the person was actually asking a serious question. So I always err toward the more serious. My father says I have no sense of humor because of this. Obviously, he doesn't know me very well. I see. You got a rock? You got Reaper. Did you get a Reaper order? I still have one of my rocks. In fact, I think it's up here on the... Are you up here, rock? Yeah! This is my Reaper rock. I kept it. It's dusty. It needs a cleanse. There, I got a rock too. And it's so shiny and pretty. It's actually a really nice worry stone because it's so nice to pet. It's a really nice petable rock that Reaper gave me. Yeah, the only thing I thought maybe, Marich, is that it did cross my mind what I said to you yesterday, but without even seeing your books, about maybe looking at your covers. I would say that that's true. I would say that the problem is cover styles change so much, right, over the years. I think that's why most like major publishers tend to reskin their books every 5 to 7 years. It's sad that it's so expensive to do it, though. Like, I'm desperately hoping that I make it... I'll just have to, like, budget it, I think, by the time it's time to mix up and change my own. Luckily, I have another 3 to 4 years before I have to worry about it. But otherwise, you've got lots of good reviews, and yeah, I might try advertising if I were you. You've never gotten a rock? That's so sad. They're actual rocks, Polly. It's a joke based on the Charlie Brown Halloween special, where Pigpen gets a rock. So Reaper has like good ghoulie bags, and sometimes you get a rock in them. Yeah, and all the times I've ordered, I've only gotten one rock, so my rock is a prized possession. Yeah, but honestly, Marich, I would kill to have the number of reviews you have. Good job. Oh, you have a quartz one? Is it? Mine is black. It's heavy. It's like hematite. I think it's hematite. It's really heavy for its size. But yeah, the thing is, Marich, like if you try to do advertising and it doesn't seem to work very well, I might look at your covers just because maybe the style is a little outdated compared to modern, uh, what's coming out now for epic fantasy. Of course, I also just kind of hate the some of the modern like the just let's just put it like an illustrated emblem on the cover and not put actual art on the cover. I've always hated that. So there's room for personal expression, of course, on that, but it is possible. That's the only thing that like when I looked at your stuff, I was like, could improve there. But honestly, if you advertised and you got sales, maybe you wouldn't, or maybe you'd wait until you felt like it. Two Ghoulie bags, no rock. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice! You already have it on your wish list. That's sweet, Turgeon. Yeah, I traded in one of my KU things before, so that's really cool that like you have Maricha's books already on your wish list. Yeah, that's otherwise like that was the only thing that really stuck out to me as far as passive marketing goes, right? Since the cover is the most important thing to get people to click on an ad because usually you're using the book cover as a large part of the art. Um, there we go. There's our first orange here. So I just did a few drops of orange brown and I dropped some Cavalier into it. So we got that nice orange that's just a little bit not super bright. We don't want it to be cartoon bright. We're not painting a cartoon Halloween card, but that's good. I've got a lot of shadows already painted on here, so I'm not going to mix up my russet brown. I'm just going to go over the top here, and I'm going to mix up my highlight, which is this plus a bit of Osirian sand. Yeah, a lot of AI. Well, because people are like desperate and they don't have any money, right? And usually that just means the book is not that great. I hate to say it. Because the same people, and I say this being on the self-publish and self-publishing Reddits, where a lot of people are, on there that are publishing or trying to publish. But it's too many people, like, if they can't afford a cover, even off of, like, Fiverr or something, then they can't afford editing either, if you know what I mean. So I would always do the look inside on, or read a sample, if considering a book with an AI cover, just because. Oh, nice, you got your Bone 6. Nice, nice, nice. Great. Which dragon did you get, Marich? Oh, the anniversary dragon. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Super duper. Yeah, it's huge. I don't need more huge dragons. I know, Kiranika, that's like totally incomprehensible to you, but still. Yeah, I did not go in for it. I've been very conservative about adding more miniatures to my pile lately. Still waiting for my, yeah, I know. Gasp. Still waiting for the miniature I ordered from Poland to get here. Eventually. Alright, so we got 3 oranges mixed up here now from our initial mixed orange. There's my triad. we'll start with this one, just kind of picking up some of the shadow. I guess I should probably, well, you know what, I could probably equivalent that shadow. This is the thing. I could mix up a whole nother color and get my russet brown out, or I could just do a quick test and see if mixing brown liner with my orange gives me something close. And then I know I can touch up if I accidentally cover over some of my shadow that I wanted to retain. Well, while you're working on those other models, you can just kind of think about how you're going to tackle the dragon. So I'm going to mix this up. It's going a little too green, but with a little bit more orange. I think I get close enough to match. Yeah, that's close enough to match it. So we'll keep that. All right, so then I don't have to mix up a whole other color. Great, that's good. Remember when painting blues not to start too dark. I'm just going to mix up a slightly bigger puddle of that brown. Because when you try to layer highlights over dark blue, your brush strokes will always show because dark blue is transparent, and when you add white you make an opaque brush stroke and it sticks out like a sore thumb. So when you start to do blue, consider either mixing a tiny bit of white into your starting deep blue, or a bit of gray, which can give you a softer shadow, or a bit of brown, anything, to interrupt that effect. Each and every scale. Yep. Now I'm going to mix in and I'm just trying to make a little bit of this brown here. You can see me starting to mix a little bit of brown liner in here. Just a little bit at a time until I get something that works for a shadow. I think that's good enough for now. There. So now I have a quadrant. Yeah. Yeah, because adding gray will add a little bit of white into it and it'll disrupt that. Then you can start dark and work light if that's your jive, if that's your jam. Otherwise, start with more of a medium blue and shade down and highlight up. But with dragons, that can be a little fraught just because there's so many scales and you want to do a wash and then the wash doesn't look good or it's blotchy or it doesn't work well or whatever. So I do tend to like the start dark, work light, relatively so on dragons. I will sometimes still do big blocky shading. But only at the very beginning. Alright, let's get to this. Get our pumpkin going on here. I've done that. I mean, that's what I did for most of I think all of the dragons I painted for Reaper. All the box art that's mine, that's dragon-y. Every one of those has scales individually painted. Because that's just my jam. Except the coal needs to have quotes around it because I don't think they're giving us actual fossil fuels. So in this shadow area, I'm just going in with my regular orange first. I don't want to go down too far with it. I still want to have shadows on the lower parts. It can be fun to paint animals, Val. But it's not everybody's jam. Like, paint what you like. I always loved animals, so I really love painting animals and creatures and monsters. But I know it's not everybody's. As you can see from Mr. Toad, I do love painting animals, but it's not like you're missing out on anything if you don't. It's just a skill set. Like any other. And God knows I've chosen to skip out on some stuff also. Like I don't do vehicles. That's my equivalent. So I've never really felt like inspired to do them. Not really. And it's a whole different skill set to make them look good than it is to do something living. So I have just always not done it. Maybe someday I will, but I mean, I appreciate a really well painted vehicle when I see friends who are like IPMS grandmasters, doing stuff like that. It's amazing. Yeah, when you just get in the zone and you just highlight the little scales and it makes you happy, like, I feel that. Some of us do enjoy that drudgery. So just lighting a little bit down here on the bottom. I was looking at pumpkins the other day, and most of the pumpkins with these little bumpies, the bumpies are much lighter colored, but I've decided that I'm going to ignore that and make them orange because I don't want to make them whitish. So once again, ignoring the natural references because I decide I want to do it different, which you totally can. Hey, Iffy, thanks for the resub. 62 months. Nice. Yeah, the only things I've really wanted to paint that are mechanical are like walkers, like the Imperial Guard, like walker, chicken walkers. I've been tempted to do those. I've been tempted to do like the Tau power suits. That's probably the entry level drug that might eventually get me in, but there's so many things I would rather paint, and I really do love painting animals and creatures far more than I'm attracted to doing any sort of mechanical thing, so it's unlikely. Yes, realism does have only a passing acquaintance with Batling. It's true. So Toad is pretty realistic, but that's just because that's what I like to do. Like again, animals. Although Batling is more like a person, I think that's why Batling feels like a person, and also his fur just isn't like. The sculpt is hard to make look good at this scale. Yeah, Gundams I've never been attracted to. Too big, too robot-y. If there were Voltron lions, maybe. And I'm sure there are Voltron lions somewhere, but that that's the like animal shaped robots are the ones that make me want to paint them. In fact, I named our David laughed because I gave our new 3D printer a name, and its name is Voltron because it reminds me of like the Voltron face mask. Nice, Marie. Yes, I based it on an actual Toad scheme. I don't remember. I just looked for a picture with one with a pattern down the side that I could simplify, and I just went with that one. Thormel. And he was the Toad that I chose was much more brown. I just chose to make this guy more green so that he would work better with the plants. So this Toad was loosely based on reality. Very loosely based on reality Toad. But looks like a Toad, so win. Alright, so we just have to highlight a little bit more over here, and we can get back to... You can see the difference between just the flat color here and the colors we've gone through and highlighted already. So I'm already sick of orange. So it's just as well that we're going to try to finish Sophie with the rest of this month once we're done with Batling. Or at least we're going to try to finish like Sophie herself, and if we end up working on the otter for a little bit longer, that's fine with me. But I want actual Sophie to be done. Actual Druid Sophie needs to be finished. We've been working on her a long time. Painting it with smooth blending that leans... Well, and not always, though. It depends on the surface. Smooth blending is only, like... Certain things are smooth, right? Like... And most things in nature have a texture. So the choppier, quote-unquote, styles coming out of Europe are ones where people are embracing texture over smoothness. Because they feel it's more... They may feel it's more realistic. And a lot of the time... For a lot of subjects, they're right. Smoothness, the place most people use it is going to be skin tones, and even then, as you get to bigger subjects like busts, skin ceases to look so smooth. Like in young people, in very young people, and especially young females, the skin is very smooth. So that's where you'll most often see it on busts. And certain other things like shiny leather, very smooth, right? Like there are other surfaces that are very low texture. But in general, surfaces have a slight texture. So leaving brushstrokes in line with that texture is arguably more realistic at that point than doing smoothness. Like, that's what Kirill teaches. And, like, he's right. He's like, smoothness has a place, but its place isn't everywhere. Now, at a 28 millimeter scale, you could argue that everything looks smooth. And in general, you'd be right. At that scale, if you were looking at a person across the yard or across a parking lot that was actually, like, looked that size to you, you wouldn't be able to see almost all the textures. But in general, the choppier style coming out of Europe is either impressionistic or it's texture, or both. I mean, and there's some people that are using pointillism. You know, it depends on who you look at. Like if you look at some of Kaha's stuff, she's her giant, or was it a giant? I think it was a giant that got a golden demon like last year. Looks downright watercolor. Like that's a totally different style, right? So I wouldn't lump. I think there's a lot of different styles actually coming out. But smoothness for smoothness' sake is, I think its time is mostly past. I think you get, especially the golden demon painters, you get definitely a subset of the population which are all in on smoothness and really enjoy doing it. And they mostly, you see them going to golden demon because that style is rewarded. So that's kind of their home, home fields. So it's not like the smoothness style doesn't exist anymore or that it's not being rewarded. But in general, I feel like people are very interested in doing texture. They're very interested in switching it up, doing different brush strokes, and I can see that. Like, I personally enjoy that. Smoothness takes a lot of work. It's a lot of layering and glazing and blending. Or blending. Wet blending, I mean. So it can be tedious. And some people just don't really grok with it. Like, they just don't really enjoy it. Right. Heck yeah. Sure. I mean, with textures, you usually want some opacity, but not a ton. I mean, geez, hold on. All I have is Grumpy, because Sacrifice is in the other room. But I mean, all of the textures on him, all that super fine, linen-y texture. Use the less fine back here so you can see it more, because I rushed this part. But it's super, super, super fine on the front. All of this, all these textures, all the fur, all the leather, all the everything, all the breastplate, that's all Master Series. All of it. And the skin. The skin has texture too. If you get close, you can see, because it's hair follicles, right? So you've got to use a stippling stroke to suggest the wrinkles in the skin and stuff. That's all Master Series. Every bit of it. Kirill likes Master Series. The thing about textures is, if you're heavy-handed with them, then it lends itself more to like a comic book style. But to get realistic textures, you actually need something that can be subtle. Master Series is that. Comic book style can be called cell shading, but cell shading is not all comic book style is not cell shading. For instance, my personal style of comic book is actually the Borderlands style, which has very little cell in it. It's got a lot more blended. It's more like a modern comic book. Although I think Orc is technically... Did I cell shade Orc? I don't think so. I tried to blend... There's a little bit of cell shading on him, but it's not straight, right? Like, you can see the blocks of color, but it's a much more modern take on comic book, right? Much more modern. And I like that modern better than the traditional cell shading. Like, it appeals to me more. So cell shading is when you've got the defined blocks. Well, some comic books are very cell shaded. Shadow Raven, right? Depends on the artist. Hey, Richard. How's it going? Richard, 109 people have been introduced to East of the Sun this month. 109 new readers, potential readers, assuming that they actually read it after they download the 99-cent promotion. But I was just studying cell shading, and actually we're going to do a PDF on this, probably a $10 PDF for my Patreon, because there is a lot of kind of like cell shading is comic book, but not all comic book is cell shading. Because there's definitely, there's even like regular working artists who use a cell shaded style. Like 2D. Alright, so now we've got a nice amount of light coming up here. I want to make sure that I don't lose all my shadow down here. Yeah, no, most Zelda games are cell shaded. If you look really closely at Tears of the Kingdom, sure, a lot of it is like, there's a lot of blending going on, but if you look at the characters, they're cell shaded. Like, I was looking at one of the screenshots from one of the cinematics from Tears of the Kingdom, and it is very evidently cell shaded. So you can mix it up too, right? Because I feel like the backdrops are more painted, quote unquote. Yeah, Wind Waker wasn't the most obvious one. Yeah, Tears is ridiculously pretty. That's why I watched David play it. Most of it. It's just too darn pretty. As well as a great story. My favorite Zelda story so far, I think, is Tears. But yeah, I actually went and did some research on this because a patron, I always ask my new patrons if they have a topic that they want, they'd like me to cover. And this new patron brought up cell shading. So I went out on a fact-finding mission, and that is what I have discovered, or been able to put together, is just read an article on cell shading and its history and uses and examples. But like Princess Mononoke is cell shaded, right? A lot of animation, but not all animation. Obviously now. It's just a very nice high impact style for animation. It gives you the information you need in an abbreviated manner that's, it's stylistic, but it works. Going over my pumpkin lumps here. Nobody could like hold it against you taking pictures of your horse. I had to help David name his horses. But yeah, like, it just goes back to there's no wrong way to do miniature painting. Like, you can do pointillism, and if you do it well enough, it'll look amazing, and people will be blown away by it. Nobody's going to tell you that you're painting minis wrong just because you're using tiny dots. Some people might not like the style, they might not enjoy it, but that doesn't make it wrong. And that's always going to be the case with art, right? Somebody's not going to like what you're doing. Somebody on the interwebs will have a dissenting opinion, oh noes. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Yeah. I actually read Howl's Moving Castle rather than watching the animated movie. I hadn't ever read it before. I very much enjoyed it because fairy tale. But my favorite thing was um, the author's note where she mentioned how many girls like wanted to get together with Howl, like how many girls would marry Howl, like when she was giving talks or readings or stuff. She's like, there's all these girls would be like, I would tackle him, I could fix him, all this stuff, and she just kind of was like, huh. It was pretty funny. Yeah, Howl in the film is cool. I liked Howl in the book. Maybe I'll have to go hunt down the film. Can I watch it on Amazon Prime, or is it where do I see it? Where do I find it, guys? Tell me where to watch it. I'll tell David I want to watch it, and he'll totally watch it with me because he's desperate for me to watch things with him. Disney Plus. Oh, we might have that because Mandalorian and stuff, right? Because I think David keeps a subscription. Yeah, I mean, I do. I've done. I think I've done a fair amount of. Have I done a fair amount of stuff on texture for the Patreon? But a lot of it might be older, so I probably should do some new texture stuff for the Patreon because I have a more developed. Every time the cool thing about the Patreon is like you can look back at my oldest stuff and you can see a snapshot of what I believed then. But then over time, my views and my experience has developed, and so the way I would write about it now would be different. But yeah, the guy I showed on film or on the video just a moment ago, Mr. Grumpy, I painted him. He was Kirill Kanave's workshop class, and Kirill is a master of textures. If you really like textures, getting his AK book is worth it, Val. It's a wonderful book. There's a lot of awesome examples, not just painted by him, but a lot of his friends who are top level painters. And he talks a lot about texture because it's Kirill. Oh, I'm not out to like. I won't go like binge anything. I don't do that. Like just because if I want to watch Howl's Moving Castle, I'm gonna go watch Howl's Moving Castle, and I won't watch anything else. Cause I have books to write. Like it's weird, but visual media is just not where I'm at. Every once in a while, I'm curious. Like this one, it makes me curious because I really did enjoy the book, and I've heard so many good things about the animation, the animated movie. So I'll give it a try. But I'm not in danger of traipsing off to try to watch anything else. Like my books are taking off, guys. My books are starting to sell. Do you have any idea how this makes me totally obsess about writing? Do you? It's like somebody just handed me the keys to the kingdom of my dreams. Now I have a way to reach people that's working. I felt like Amazon ads really weren't. I just feel like I was okay like with selling 18 to 20 books a month, but I'll be much happier selling more. And also dropping a bunch of money out of my Amazon ads to sell more. Hey, we're getting this pumpkin like nicely pebbly, guys. It's getting there. It's getting there. We'll probably still need to do the vine tomorrow. And then we'll start like working on basing, which is going to be very simple. Just going to keep it on this base. Just going to like probably do some groundwork and some grass, static grass. Very simple. Oh, well, yeah. Textures on big surfaces are that's where Cural's good at. I mean, that's why I took that workshop of his, because we use that big bust. But I mean, it takes a lot of practice to do it. And really what it takes is just examining textures and figuring out how to break them down into simple patterns, right? Like David did with his denim jacket on his Best in Show winning ReaperCon entry. Yeah, I'll look. Shadow Raven. Not very exciting, but you still wrote it. That's great, Thermal. All writing counts. Yeah, I don't need anything sad. There's enough sad in the world. All right, let's take our lighter orange here. I need to thin it down a little bit. It's a little bit too harsh to do highlights. Because I added Osirian sand in, so it's got a lot of white, so it's going to leave brush strokes. Yeah. Alrighty, so a little bit extra highlighting up here. Sweet. There. So we've got some light. Got to see that light coming down on the top there. just working up that lighter color. Hi there, Kiki. It's not quite time yet. You're close, though. You're close, though, Alarm Dog. You are. You're close. Hi. Hi there, big face. How you doing? You totally pawed me in the face this morning, young lady. You did. Paw to the face is not an acceptable method of waking mommy up. Paw to the face is not. Lick to the face is fine. Not paw to the face. Yeah. Someday you're going to put an eyeball out. Alrighty, so just a little bit extra highlights just to bring up the light up here. Give me more contrast with how it turns as it goes down. I feel like I need to bring this a little bit more orange in here. Didn't get any writing done yesterday either, and that got me grumpy. Yesterday was just not very... It was anti-productive. I guess it's because I had a super productive day the day before. I can't always have super productive days, but they always make me in such a good mood. I could almost hear Kariniko's stupendous yelp of what? Along with that half. Ah, okay. Yeah, it all counts, Marich, but... And I get stuff accomplished, but it's just like... When I really want to be working on X, and instead I have to accomplish Y, and I hope to get to X, but then Y turns out to be more of a pain than I anticipated, and I end up burning a bunch of time and energy on X, and then I have no energy left for Y, and it frustrates me. Like, that's the kind of thing it was yesterday. I'm trying to clear the decks before NaNoWriMo, and it's like, that means taking all the small annoying things that kind of built up and getting rid of them, like accomplishing them or handing them off. And one of those things just took too much time yesterday. And worse, it's probably like time spent because I wanted it to be like a certain level, but the people who I'm doing it for probably won't even appreciate it. Or they'll be like, "Can you change this?" And I'll be like, "Sorry, no time left." Yeah. This was writing a website for the new Shiloh Shepherd website, writing a web page, and it needed to be done, and I was the best one to do it, but it was a really annoying topic to do because I had to do a lot of research for it. And so it ended up sucking up so much time, and I was just like, arg, I really wanted to finish the Patreon PDF I had, which was also like super important, and just didn't get there. And because I didn't get that done, I couldn't work on my ad stuff, which made me sad. Alrighty. Yeah, we have an orange pumpkin. Sweet. Just going to take a closer look. I'm going to highlight these guys a little bit more. We're almost done with the stream. So tomorrow we'll do the leaves in the back, the vine, and probably get a start on the basing. And that'll be Friday. Maybe we'll finish it tomorrow, guys. If we make good progress, we'll finish it tomorrow. Then I can send around pictures. I thin my paint a little bit more as it thickens up, and I want more subtlety. Alrighty, there we go. Lighten this up a little bit. Hopefully today will be a good day. Except we have cleaners coming, and that always throws a monkey wrench into the afternoon, but I should be able to still write. Alrighty. Alrighty. And then we'll get, I just want a little bit more here. Just kind of bringing up the highlights toward the top so that they're consistent. And that will take us pretty much to the end. it's good. That works. Sweet. Sweet, guys. We're almost done. Almost completely done. Oh, yawn. Stretch. Oof. Thank you all very much for coming today and hanging out with us while we paint our Batling. We are a hair from done. If we're lucky, we'll finish tomorrow. And then we will, later this month, switch over entirely to our other bigature, Night Elf Sophie. And we will try to finish. She's so close. Like, I keep thinking she's so close. She's getting there. So then we'll finish Night Elf Sophie for the rest of October. And that will be pretty much, I just want to put some freehand. I want to put some freehand patterns here and here after we've got everything highlighted. Yeah, and that's what I hope to get done for October. And then our two biggest things will be out of the way, and then we can add the Gnome King bust in her place after we get the otter done. Yeah, I think so too, Richard. Yeah. For sure. So, all right. Thank you both. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. And I am going to go running off and walk a dogling. The dogling needs to be walked. Although she's a doglet rather than a dogling. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh my god, I need to wake up. I woke up. Kiki pounced me out of a dream this morning, and you always feel so sluggish when you get pounced out of the middle of a dream. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you, Quindy, for watching and modding the stream. And I will see you guys tomorrow, all right? And there we are. All right. See you then. Bye-bye, everybody.